One of the guilty pleasures I enjoy is 90 Day Fiance, and I love it because it really gives me an insight as a life coach how people deal with challenges, problems, frustrations, and when life doesn't go their way. You really see a person's true character and true colors come out when there is adversity, when they are upset, when they're angry, when they're arguing. And that's why some of the best advice I got when I was younger: never marry someone or be in a long term committed relationship with someone that you haven't traveled with. And especially, even more challenging travel. It's really allows you to see how someone handles difficulty and challenging situations. And in that show, it's like a soap opera. It's a real life soap opera, and there's so much drama, and there's people getting upset and angry and disappointed and tears and crying and yelling and just family members not approving of the partner that they chose, the fiance they chose. It's really a bit of a circus and chaotic. But in it, I get to learn things about human behavior, which is something I love. I get to learn things about myself. And one of the things, I was watching an episode yesterday about a couple, and the guy had cheated on his Colombian girlfriend. I think her name is Melisa or something like that. And so she was originally going to come to the United States to live with him, and they were going to get married. After she found out that he had cheated on her, she said, "No, I'm not going to do that. If you want to make the relationship work, you have to come out to Colombia." And it's interesting to see how they navigate the challenges of how do you heal a relationship when the trust has been broken. I mean, her parents don't want her to get involved with this guy who cheated on her. She doesn't know if she wants to be with him. She doesn't trust him. A night of pleasure can create so much, a path of destruction. And when we make a mistake, the best thing that we can do is just own it. Own the mistake. Not defend it, not make excuses for it, not say, we were long distance, or I wasn't sure the status of our relationship, or whatever excuses people make. Is just own it and rectify it. And what people want or are seeking is for you to feel empathetic towards their pain or towards their suffering. And you could see in the dynamics between this couple is he would own it, but probably about 80%, probably 70%. He would apologize, but you would see he would get frustrated with her. Like, why are you still dwelling on this? Why are you holding this over my head? Why can't you understand? I just made a mistake. And that made her more upset. And she was just not able to let this go, understandably so. And if you're going to continue the relationship, at some point you do have to forgive the person for their past errors. Not forget, but forgive them. Otherwise, that mistake, that serious mistake, will haunt the relationship. And you want to be your own worst critic when you mess up. And if you just take complete ownership and say, I really messed up. I can't believe whatever the situation is. I can't believe that I made a mistake and hurt you, or forgot about your birthday, or didn't come to visit you when you were expecting me to come out, or told a lie that you found out about and ended up devastating you. Whatever it is just own it. And if you're hard on themselves, and it's got to be authentic, it can't be fake. If you're harder on yourselves than they would be on you, it gives them space to forgive you, because what people want to do is punish you. And they want to kind of make you feel bad and beat you up and make you feel guilty and make you feel shame, because if they make it the mistake or transgression painful enough, it gives them some comfort that you would avoid doing that in the future. But if you own it and empathize with the hurt that you've caused, it allows them not to hammer the other person so hard. And while during the whole in that episode, the mom was there when the whole thing blew up and she found out that he had been cheating on her with another girl. And the mom threatened to call the police and was like, got involved in the middle of it. And ever since then, there's been this underlying tension between Malaysia and the mom. And they both sat down, they went out for a drink to try to squash the beef. And they both of them danced around it. She never said, hey, it really disappointed and hurt me that you threatened to call the police on me because I was so upset and I was just so angry when I found out your son cheated on me. And that's how you respond to it, by threatening to call the police. And then the mom could have addressed, how she felt. The mom could have said, yes, I realized, that was wrong. I shouldn't have done that. It was a situation I didn't know how to handle, and I totally mishandled that, and I apologize for that. And she could say, yes, Malaysia, the girl, the woman that he cheated on, could say, you know what, I shouldn't have gotten so angry, and I especially should not have gotten you involved in that situation. I should have waited to have that argument when we were in private. And I apologize that you had to witness that. I apologize for getting emotionally in the red zone and just a little bit of out of control. And I want to assure you that I'm going to be very mindful and really do my best to make sure that never happens again. And I understand that you have a negative impression of me because of that. And you're probably worried that this is how I will treat your son in the future when we have arguments and disagreements. And if Malaysia said, I just want to reassure you, and you can, check with your son, that this is not typical for me, and it's something that I am working on and will not do in the future because it's not healthy for our relationship. And then the mom could have said, oh, thank you. Thank you for understanding my concerns. Thank you for feeling some of my pain and worries and wanting to protect my son from it. And like all the tension that was in the air could have been cleared, but they both danced around it. They didn't talk about their true feelings. There's polite talk where you say what's bothering you, or you're trying to be authentic and honest, but sugarcoating it. Or stating it very delicately, and then the true message is not really transferred, and the other person doesn't receive it because it's sugar-coated. And that's just not the way to do it. It might be a short-term gain, it might prevent arguments and stuff like that, but when there's friction and tension between two people, they need to sit down and hammer it out. And sometimes I'll do that in coaching. I'll help a couple or two people, mother, daughter, son, child. I'll help them navigate that disagreement in a healthy way. And I think if they had somebody like a therapist or a coach or somebody like to navigate this argument and this disagreement that they were having, it would have gone a lot better. But as they got up and walked away, you could tell that there was still this wall between them. And another thing that helped me realize is not everybody works on their self-development. Not everybody works on their communication skills. Not everybody has a life coach or a therapist or someone to help them develop these social skills or the ability or the emotional IQ to be able to communicate what they're feeling and what they're struggling with and what they're upset about and what's frustrating them in a healthy, constructive way. Where it doesn't lead to an argument. And when we can do that, we just build bridges and we build deeper, richer, more fulfilling connections with people. When we can't do that, and I have some of that in my life where I can't be open and honest with people because they just don't respond well. it creates distance. What people do is they start avoiding you, or they just start distancing themselves from you, and it's not healthy for the relationship. And so really going to the person and just sharing how you feel. I have a client that we've been working on this type of open, honest, direct communication. And when we first started working together, she really struggled with it. She struggled with people pleasing, but we just kept on setting mini goals in between our sessions. And she would sometimes miss them, a lot of times meet them, but it's just that consistent process. And even in our coaching sessions, I'd really encourage her to be open and honest and direct with me, and what we modeled in coaching, she was able to also take out into the world. And now it's unbelievable how to the point she's come to where she can just tell people how she feels. She can, if something's bothering her, she can let them know. If there's something on her mind, she can let them know. And she's also gotten a lot better at receiving that constructive feedback. And she says it makes her relationships so much healthier, so much stronger, and so much better. And it's a short-term pain because it is difficult to do oftentimes, but for a long-term gain. It really is the glue. Communication, honest, authentic, open communication is the glue that bonds relationships. And it does require courage. And a lot of us avoid it because we don't have the courage. And we think, oh, it's going to be too painful. But to me, for the example on that 90-Day Fiance show, it's much more painful if that couple ends up being together and she becomes her mother-in-law, to have this underlying tension that could last for years, decades, if not, the rest of their lives. And so it's just better to say, you know what, I'm scared, I'm fearful of doing this, but the only way I'm going to get better at this, the only way I'm going to get courage is through taking action. And you could start small and build up on it. And I've seen in coaching just complete 180s. People that were very shy, reserved, people-pleasing, nice guys, nice women that just couldn't say what's on their mind and would find ways to avoid the person or passive-aggressive ways to distance themselves or vent their frustration. It's just not healthy. Communication is the bedrock of all of our relationships. And even goes to, when you don't get good service, or when you're want to make a complaint at whatever, at the store or something like that. We can't continue to stuff things and not feel like they're going to have long-term repercussions. They have health repercussions. They have mental health repercussions. It's a serious thing to not express how you feel. It really is. It does do damage. Now, a caveat is there are some people that just will absolutely not receive what you're willing to express, and so be it. You at least you tried, but I understand that. And then you have to figure out, what do I want to do? Do I want to have LC, limited contact, no contact with them, set boundaries with them, whatever. I talked about that in a previous video on dealing with like narcissists and sociopaths and people with very selfish, egotistical personalities. The other thing that really helps to have that open communication is you start small with the person and have an agreement. Talk to them and let them know, hey, is open, honest communication something that you want? Most people will say yes. And then when you start doing it, they're like, oh my God, I didn't realize you're going to be that honest. So, oh my God, that was really hurtful or painful. And it's a rapport, and it takes time, it takes trust to be able to do that with another person. But if you talk about it and you say, hey, this is the type of communication I'd like, and like the client I was talking about, she says like, oh my God, the worries and concerns and fears and things I was upset about don't even bother me as long or as much anymore. It's like once she's able to communicate them, it's allowed her to release that feeling or that emotion or those thoughts. And just stuffing it inside is not the answer. So yeah, having that verbal contract or agreement is really helpful. And then you advertising yourself as an authentic communicator, taking social risks in situations where you can communicate openly and honestly. It feels good. It's scary, but it feels really good. And I promise you, it gets easier and easier over time. Really, this is the stuff we should have been taught about in school. This is one of the most important life skills that most people are just not adept at. They just aren't skilled at how to navigate when problems arise between people. And it really will set you free. And you might lose some people, but if you lose some people because you're communicating authentically, openly, and honestly, so be it. It doesn't, a lot of my clients that I'm working on this with them, they think, oh, if I'm open and honest, it's going to lead to an argument. No, that's not the case. Occasionally it might lead to an argument, but most of the time it's really well received and it actually leads to a stronger bond. If you're interested in life coaching that is life-changing, it's very affordable. I have students who do life coaching, even if you don't have problems in your life. Like a coach helps you just continue to grow and evolve, and it offers something different than talking to a friend or family member. I encourage everyone to at least give it a try. The consultation's free. The first session is 50% off, and then after that, it's extremely affordable. I've been doing this coming up on 11 years now. And I just love what I do and love to see people grow. And I love to grow myself. I mean, to me, that's one of the main purposes of life. If you'd like to support the channel, there's a PayPal link in the description. And like and subscribe if you enjoyed this video. And please share it. And I appreciate all your comments. And I read all your comments. And look forward to seeing you in the next video. Bye-bye.